On a quiet morning in early spring, in the misty hills of a remote Chinese village, Li, a humble farmer in his early 50s, was walking along a dirt path on his way to the market. The scent of wildflowers filled the air, and birds chirped gently in the distance. But the stillness was suddenly broken when he spotted a small bundle of fur trembling near the roadside. As he approached, he discovered 3 injured raccoon cubs, barely clinging to life. Their mother was nowhere to be found. Later, Li would learn that a hunting trap had taken her life the night before. Without hesitation, Li scooped the tiny creatures into his arms. They were cold and barely breathing, he recalled. I knew they wouldn't make it through the day without help. That moment marked the beginning of a life-changing journey. Raising orphan raccoons is no easy task, especially for someone with no experience in wildlife care. But Li's compassion knew no limits. He sought advice from nearby wildlife volunteers and even traveled hours to consult with a local animal rehabilitation center. He renovated a spare room in his modest home, transforming it into a safe haven filled with blankets, heat lamps, and feeding bottles. For weeks, he barely slept. Feeding schedules were relentless, with milk every 2 hours and constant monitoring of their fragile health. He gave them names, Lulu, Momo, and Didi, and watched as their tiny paws gripped his fingers, their trust in him growing stronger each day. The bond deepened. They started to follow me around the house like children, Li said, smiling gently. They waited for me by the door when I came back from the fields. At first, the villagers were skeptical. Some even laughed. But as time passed and they saw the genuine affection between the man and the animals, their hearts softened. Neighbors began to help, bringing fruits and towels, and school children often came to visit, inspired by Li's devotion. Over the months, the raccoons flourished. Their fur grew thick and glossy, their eyes sparkled with life, and their once timid spirits turned playful and curious. Li knew, however, that their journey together would not last forever. By the time autumn arrived, the local conservation team agreed that the raccoons were ready to return to the wild. It was a bittersweet moment. On the morning of their release, Li carried them in a wooden crate to the edge of the forest. The golden leaves rustled underfoot, and the wind whispered through the trees. He opened the crate slowly. For a moment, the cubs hesitated, looking back at the man who had saved them. Then, one by one, they stepped into the forest. Lulu, the last to leave, turned once more, eyes locking with Li's. Silent gratitude passed between them. I cried, he admitted, but I knew I had done the right thing. Li still visits the forest every week. He leaves food in a small clearing and sometimes catches glimpses of familiar shapes in the distance. Though they are wild now, he believes the raccoons have never truly left him. In the heart of Li's village, beneath the old cypress tree where he first found them, a small wooden sign now reads, "A father's love is not written in blood, but in kindness, courage, and sacrifice."